The HR department at Vaughn Foods received complaints against Mr. Nolen. He was called in and suspended and escorted to the parking lot. He then left Vaughn Foods, where he went home, retrieved a knife, and returned to Vaughn Foods to get revenge on certain people that he felt responsible for getting him suspended and who had wronged him. Upon entering the building, he came across Mrs. Hufford and attacked her from behind, ultimately killing her and beheading her. He then saw Mrs. Johnson, who had been the person who had complained on him earlier that day, and attacked her. Mr. Vaughn arrived with his rifle and shot Mr. Nolen as Mr. Nolen was charging at him with a knife in his hand. Right now, I have a murder charge that we will vigorously prosecute, and 2 other charges that carry up to life in prison. And as we get more information that relates to that, we'll coordinate with the federal authorities and see where that leads us. It is highly likely that I will seek the death penalty in this case. Before that decision is made, I will talk to the family of Mrs. Hufford. That decision is not fair to make without consulting with them first, but that's definitely highly likely at this point. From what I know, he entered, he saw her standing in a doorway with her back towards him, and he felt that he had been wronged by her or oppressed by her in some manner, and so he chose to attack her. My understanding is that he was using some Arabic term during the attacks, and certainly that's one of the many reasons why the FBI is involved at this point in time. My understanding that the altercation that occurred earlier in the day had more to do with race than it was him trying to convert anyone, and that he was basically saying he didn't like white people and had this altercation with our second victim regarding that. From my understanding, there was an altercation about him not liking white people. There was some back and forth conversation with Miss Johnson, and that led her to make the complaint with the HR department. Mr. Nolen is still in the hospital, so with these charges, once he's released from the hospital, he'll be arraigned on these charges. I'll be meeting with the family in the next few days. Once the decision is made to pursue the death penalty, there'll be a document called a bill of particulars that will be filed, and giving the defendant notice that we will be seeking the death penalty. And then we will start the court process, a preliminary hearing conference. He'll be assigned an attorney, or if he'll be given the opportunity to hire one, and then we have preliminary hearings, and then ultimately a trial date will be set.